Okay, so good day everyone. We will be discussing our part 2 of our introduction to consumer behavior. Now, this is the consumer research process. Okay, so let us begin. Let us define what is consumer research process. So, consumer research process is very critical, mainly when a company or a business introduce a new product to the market. They do this type of research. After conducting numerous surveys and focus groups, companies or businesses analyze customer data and then offer suggestions based on their findings. Okay. So as an entrepreneur, the question might be, are we going to use yung customer research process? Definitely yes. No? Even if you are a micro entrepreneur or a small business, we must know how the consumers or customers will react to our products. By understanding these factors, no, maybe we can offer a better product, no, of a higher quality based on their needs and wants. So let us discuss the customer research process. Okay, so a customer research process is a valid, accurate, reliable, quick, and complete results from a well-organized customer research process. The question might be, sir, as a small entrepreneur or a small business, should I invest, in doing these research processes, customer research processes? For small scale businesses, we can use our observation on what the customer wants, and even getting their feedback so we can improve our products. And usually, it is part of our daily operations. We will not invest. For large companies, say they really put up a research team. They invest on these researches so that they would know what their customer wants. Okay, so businesses can increase sales and enhance operations by using carefully acquired research data that reflects their clients or customers' thoughts and demands. Okay? For small businesses, we can use our observation. But for large companies, large businesses, and large organizations, they need yung numerical data. Okay? Set up and stick to well-known customer research techniques to purchase the business findings. Okay? So here are the common steps, no, in the research process. For a research process, it might be not as systematic, no, dito sa nakita natin sa screen. Again, you can use your observation, you can add adjustments, no, agad sa inyong product and services. But for large businesses, they follow this step-by-step process. First is you set up your objectives, then you plan your research, then you collect and collate your findings, analyze and understand the data, list and group the information, review and interpret that information, and you now develop conclusions and recommendations before you now adopt these changes to your product. Very systematic, no? Pero later on, you will see that each of these steps is very crucial, no, in order to develop a better product. No? Again, who will benefit by once we develop product? It is always the customers. One is the customers kasi we will be satisfying their needs and wants. Second is for us so that magi-increase ang ating sales. Okay? Ayan. So, punta tayo dun sa first. Set your objectives. Consider the consumer research objectives and create a clear set that spell out what you need to know and how to use the data. Make sure your goals aren't predicated, on your outcome, and set them to be yung SMART. Do you still remember, di ba, in your past subjects or even in your senior high, you always hear this SMART. Ano nga ba ang SMART? So SMART is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For specific, state clearly what you want to achieve. Okay? Ang problem kasi once we set an objective na medyo magulo, diba, our direction is kalat-kalat. That's why we have to be specific on our objectives so that it will be the basis of our next steps. Diba? It will now serve as a, kumbaga, guideline. Okay? Or a roadmap so that hindi tayo maliligaw once we do our research. Measurable, set tangible measurables so you can you know when you've completed your goals. Okay, we must know how to measure even the time of the research or the scope of the research. Everything should have a measure. And when we say also measurable, in relation to that, yung next natin is yung achievable. Once we measure, dapat we have the capacity, di ba, to set yung mga or to reach yung mga na-measure natin. So that's why A is achievable. Set goals that are within our capacity. And of course, budget. No? For example, if you are a small business and you want to do a small lang naman na consumer behavior research, and ang scope mo ba is buong Pilipinas? If you do not have the capacity and the budget to do so, syempre you have to lessen your scale. Again, it must be achievable. R naman natin is relevant. Set goals that will help you improve particular aspects of your business. Ang goal natin is to improve our products, is to improve our businesses. That's why our research must be relevant. Okay? Ang problem kasi dito, if we do a research and we gather this data which has no use naman sa ating business, it would be a waste of time. Okay? Kasi hindi natin magagamit. So only research or only find out the data from the customers which we can use, which are relevant to our business. And last dun sa SMART natin, it must be time-bound. Set goals you can achieve within the time you need them. Okay? Would you set itong ang common problem sa customer-consumer research? If the research will be done in more than a year, after the year na yan, hindi na yan relevant. Especially for customers na ever-changing ang needs yan, rapid changing of needs and wants. We must gather the data from our research from the soonest time possible. That's why it should be time-bound. Okay? Ang time you need them is actually the soonest. Okay? So we have to manage them. It should be fast. No? We gather this data the fastest way possible. Okay, so that is SMART. Ulitin ko lang ha, that is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. Okay. Next naman, let's plan our research. Okay? A good plan will have good results. A bad plan will also result to failure. That's why we need to have a good plan. Not only in research but in everything we do. Lagi tayong dapat nagpaplano. So plan your research. Good planning helps entrepreneurs be both creative and logical when it comes to obtaining information. Okay? The type and complexity of the information you need, your consumer research abilities, ayan, yung capacity natin, how quickly you need the data, again, time-bound, and your budget will all influence your strategy. Especially if you have limited time and limited financial resources, we must have a good plan if we want to have good results. Okay? So determine your list of questions in the research methods. Diba? If you plan to create a questionnaire, all questions must be planned out. And all these questions should lead to our objectives. What do we want to know from our customers? Okay? Give some attention to your study, strategy, and how you'll collect and analyze your findings. Logistics. Ayan. If you want to gather data from the customers, we must always plan the logistics. Okay? Would you do it face-to-face? Meron kang flyer na papasagutan at mag-iikot-ikot ka from one place to another, or you will do it online. I guess, di ba, today, mas practical ang online. Di ba? Kasi everyone is exposed online. Lalo na nung nag-start yung global pandemic. Work from home, online. Yung, even yung teaching, yung pag-aaral, everything is online. So I guess, today, the better option is to do your questionnaires or questions or the research online. Okay? Again, everything must be planned. Okay? Next naman natin is collect and collate your findings. So make a list of your study steps, data requirements, and data gathering techniques. This will make it easier for you to keep track of your study and make sense of your findings. It will also enable you to ensure that your research appropriately reflects the views of your consumers and markets. Make a table to keep track of the following: the activity, consumer research activity, the data needed, your data collection method, and your data analysis step. Okay, this is the how you collect the data and gather all the data and to organize all the data. I guess you have tried, diba, to do research in your senior high. Ang ano natin dyan, uh, how do you collect the data? No? How do you, ano na yung term doon? When you gather the data, when you collate the data, yung lalagay nyo sa mga graphs, lalagay nyo sa mga tables, etc. Diba? Traditional method kasi we have to do it manually. Nalala nyo yun, yung may mga stick kayo. Pero nowadays, since we have the technology, everything is already automated. Are you aware of one of the functions ng Google is yung Google Forms? You will set the questionnaire through Google Forms. You will send a link to different respondents. Ang kagandahan nun is everything will be computed. Percentage of, for example, the question is yes or no. Once they submit yung questionnaire, automatic siya magko-compute the percentage of yes and the percentage of no. Yan. Ang kagandahan ngayon, we can take advantage of technology to make our collection and our organization of data much, much simpler. Okay? Remember that research is only proper and valuable if valid, accurate, and trustworthy. Sana naman hindi nyo ginawa to no, during your research nung high school or nung senior high school. Kasi some of the students, para makakompleto nila yung questionnaire, sila na mismo yung nagsasagot. Okay? Ang problema nun, that would not be accurate. Especially in business, we must let the customers answer the questionnaire. Okay? Kasi what we are trying to find out is their needs and wants. Hindi yung needs and wants nung entrepreneur or nung may-ari. So it is much better if the answers will come from them. Okay, it's risky to rely on skewed research. Yung may problema. It puts you in danger of making critical decisions. When you say skewed research, if for example, if you are trying to measure yung yes or no, simple question, are you willing to buy this product? Yes or no? If medyo gitna, okay, the answers of yes is same with the answers of no, it is hard to make decisions. No? So there should be one side that will help us to create decisions. Dapat may mas lamang, kumbaga. Ayan. It puts you in danger of making critical decisions based on erroneous information through invalid or not accurate answers from customers, resulting in lower revenues in customer losses. Take caution not to misinterpret your research conclusion based on one person's viewpoint. Okay? Ayan. So it's essential to make sure the data is the following: valid, well-founded, logical, rigorous, sound, and unbiased. Second is accurate, free from error, and includes the required detail, especially for businesses. Diba? We want that specific detail for us to make business decisions. Reliable, can be reproduced by other people researching in the same way. If we forward it to other researchers, dapat the data that we have produced in our research should be reliable. Timely, current, and gathered within an appropriate time frame for business researches or marketing researches such as consumer behavior. Ano yan it depends on the trend. When I say trend, what the customers want now will be very different next year or the coming years. Kaya dapat timely ang ating findings. Complete includes all data you need to support your business decisions. And sometimes dito nagkakaproblema yung ating mga market researchers, no. For some customers kasi, especially if your questionnaire is very long, diba, hindi na nila tinatapos. Sometimes out of 10 questions, 3 lang ang sasagutan nila, which it would have an impact, no, in our results. And so again, it should be valid, accurate, reliable, timely, and complete. Alright. So next step na tayo, analyze and understand your research. Simple, uncomplicated stages to advanced and complex processes can be found in the data analysis. Can you still remember your data analysis no, in your senior high? I'm very sorry, I'm assuming that you had your research or baby thesis in your senior high. What type of data analysis have you used? Again, we have the manual, di ba yung tinuturo sa atin sa statistics. But now, we have technology, we can use different applications to help us in our data analysis. Very simple na pwede natin gamitin is the automated computation or data analysis given by Google Forms. For medyo advanced na researches, we can use yung SPSS. Are you familiar nun, yung SPSS na app? Ayan. Or again, if you prefer, you can do it manually. Okay? You can use, hindi naman yung manual mo nako-compute na sa paper and pen. You can use Microsoft Excel to help you in those computation. Use common sense when choosing a data analysis method and base your decision on the research you have done. I remember another easiest siguro na data analysis method na ginagawa natin, not only for students but also professionals, is we find a statistician to do the data analysis for us. That is allowed naman. Especially for us, if we really don't have the capacity, di ba, to do the data analysis, we usually tap yung experts to help us. Okay, next naman natin is list and group your information. So, choose a spreadsheet that makes it simple to enter data. Preferable, Microsoft Excel. That is the best na pwede natin gamitin na spreadsheet application. I really suggest na you avoid yung manual na sinusulat nyo kasi it is more prone to error. So let us use yung computer, let us use applications in our phones and to make our recording much more accurate. Okay, let's continue. If you don't have much data, you should manage it with a simple spreadsheet tools included in most office suites. Tulad ng binanggit ko kanina, Microsoft Excel. If you gathered more detailed and complex data, you might need to use the specialized software to manage it, such as database system, this is for big companies na, customer relationship management, application. Ayan. Most of the large companies really invest on this type of applications. Choose a simple structure for storing your data, such as a table that allows you to display survey questions vertically and categorize your responses as numbers based on age, gender, income, and other essential criteria or the demographic criteria. Okay? If you are expert in using Microsoft Excel, everything can be done doon. Especially when you try to rearrange data, if you want to group data based on the parameter you want, for example, yung age, gender, everything can be done through Microsoft Excel. Problem lang kasi is the learning curve, di ba? You really have to learn how to use that application for you to maximize those things. Ayan. Alright. Next tayo, review and interpret your information to draw conclusions. Once you've gathered all the data, you can scan your information and analyze it to draw conclusions and make decisions. Okay? Review your data and then first, we have to identify the major trends and themes, problems, opportunities, and issues you observe and explain each. No? Everything should have an implication to your business. Record how frequently each significant findings appears to. List your conclusions in order of most common to least common. And last is, pagilid lang ako ng konti, assess and separate, list the strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, or SWOT analysis. No? For the SWOT analysis naman, I think you are experts dito sa SWOT analysis. Just to have a refresher, kung naalala niyo pa yung SWOT analysis niyo, again, this is strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. This is the environment of the business. Diba? Analyzing the environment of the business. Why did I say environment? Kasi we have the internal environment and the external environment. For your internal environment, something that is controlled within the business, that is your strength and weaknesses. For strengths, that is something we could maintain or improve, while weaknesses naman is something we should change. We have control, internal. As for the opportunities and threats, this is now the external environment. Something we might not control, but we can adapt. Okay? We can adapt. For opportunities in businesses, again, it's very important that we take advantage of opportunities. For threats, something we should avoid. Okay? Once we move on to the next chapters, no, we will explain it further, itong ating SWOT analysis. Okay, dito tayo sa next. Alright. Medyo natatapos na tayo. We have the developed conclusions and recommendations about your marketing research or consumer behavior research. Let us revisit our objectives before drawing any inferences about our findings. Consider whether the steps you've taken and the information you've gathered have helped us to answer your questions. Consider investigation revealed and write down your conclusions and suggestions. Ano ba ang goal natin? Going back yung pinag-usapan natin kanina. Diba? We must know the needs and wants of our consumers in order for us to make better products, to offer better services. Yun lang naman yung kailangan natin sa research. Diba? This data, gagamitin natin yan, again, to improve our products. At isa pang tanong nyo siguro, sir, are we only going to do research once? Again, a customer behavior research is a continuous process. Trends are changing. That's why we must be always updated on the needs and wants of our customers. Our products and services must be continuously improving. Okay? Kasi once we do this on what's the term? Pag lagi natin ginagawa tong process of researching a consumer, it is our advantage, competitive advantage. Especially if we really want to have high profits, kailangan natin gawin to. Okay? So, examine your findings and depending on what you've learned, make the following decisions. First, choose a few strategies that will help you improve your business. Second, syempre, once we set strategies, we must act on these strategies. Look for gaps in our information and consider further research if necessary. Once we know na kulang yung na-gather nating data, we need more research. And last is plan to review your research outcomes and consider how effective your strategies have been. Okay? Ganito yan. Di ba once we change our products and services, hindi pa tayo sure if that is effective or not. That's why we need to always measure, always evaluate if these strategies are good or not. Again, another research. Very complicated, no? Kung titingnan nyo, parang very complicated yan, sir. As a small business, magagawa ko ba yan? No. What I have presented is what usually big companies do in their marketing efforts, no, in improving their products. But for us, a small business, hindi naman necessarily nagagawin natin yan. I have just shown you the process, no, on how to improve your products based on identifying needs and wants. Again, yung sinabi ko kanina, everything can be done through observation. Observation is also a form of research. Diba? Tingnan nyo, ano ba ang gusto ng mga customers nyo? Ano ba ang kailangan nila? And we must offer those needs and wants. I will remind you that a business should be an economic solution to a problem. Yun yung pinakasimple siguro na pwede kong i-summarize itong itong research process, di ba? By identifying the problem of your customers, we now make economic solutions. And that solutions is through our products and services. Yun. Parang yun yung summary nitong whole research na to. Okay, so that is palitan ko to. It should be, ayan, balik ko dun sa first. Ayan. So again, this is now the consumer research process. Alright, so we are done with part 2 and I will see you on the next part of our discussion.